All right. So yeah, I can see my Maya up here.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. So let's start on the left here. All right. Who? Lily. I'm guessing. Is it yours?
Does it look bad?
It's a lot of shakiness here and there. So it seems like you had issues with snapping them into place. So just to go over it again, like run me through snapping a cube into place.
Um,
Like after you make a cube, like how do you snap it into place, either next to another cube or with the grid?
I start using it on the grid, and then I put them together, right?
I mean, but the snaps, the steps for snapping. Like how would I put how would I put this new cube, this new default cube, right on top of here?
Um, Shift and X.
Well, Shift and X doesn't. No, I'm not sure what Shift X does, but that doesn't get me started here. So keep in mind is snapping is a very particular thing, right? So if
Yeah.
you want this bottom vertice, right? This bottom vertice right here to line up with a particular point on the grid. It helps us with aligning a lot of objects together. We want to first want to move our anchor point right in the center here. You remember how to move the anchor point?
Anchor point. I I'm trying. I don't know what I did wrong.
Well, the thing is, we're going for a look, like just a flush look. So, I mean, this is a program, so everything can be placed perfectly together, right? And the way to do that is, okay, so you got the, yeah, so we got the anchor point for each one of these in place.
I
So,
did use the for view. That's what I did, so I can see what I was doing.
yeah, that helps. But start off, right, when making a new default cube here, I'm going to press and hold D, right? And then to get it to this bottom vertex here, I'm going to press and hold V as well. And I can click and drag that middle point right on top of that vertex, perfectly on that vertex. It's not off a little to the left, right, up and down. It's right on there, smack dab. All right, and then from there, I can press and hold X, and X is to toggle the snap to the grid. And I can click and drag that middle point once it turns into a circle, right? Instead of a square, press and hold X, get a circle, and I can snap it to any point on the grid. All right, and that's how we get the first cube to line up. Right? We can duplicate, of course. Press and hold X. Oh, no, that's a crash. Hold on. Let's see. It'll bring it back for me automatically. All right, just a second. There we go. Okay. Well, yeah, it came back. Awesome. All right, so once I have it on the grid here, did I already duplicate? Yeah. Okay, and I have a duplicate cube on top of another cube, so it's two cubes in the same space. So I press and hold X, move it to the side, and then these two are flushly together, right? And it's all about that hotkey X after you get the anchor point in place. And from there, you can build. So it's up, and then it looks like you want the wall method, so we can build a wall. Like that. D, X, etc., etc. You see how solid that is? There's like zero gaps in there because they're all snapped together, perfectly aligned. Now when we start doing them by hand, they can get out of place here and there, and then it's just not as clean. All right. So for Thursday, I'd like you to clean this up so everything is flush with one another. Right? So we don't need too much of the orthographic views. I mean, you can use the top Y orthographic here to make sure everything's still.
I apologize.
No problem. So we can make sure everything is lined up. So see here, some of these boxes are out a little bit here and there. I should be able to click a box underneath the box on top here because it should be right underneath here, like so. Like all these fit right in here. Okay, so that's what the orthographic view is pretty good for. And then also here, when we put these guys back in place, again, just using X to snap them to the grid. So it fits perfectly within these guidelines. So each guideline is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and each cube is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. So it should be able to fit within each one of these boxes on the grid. It shouldn't have any um, straying out a little bit. Okay. And let's see. Besides that, what was the character you're shooting for?
My what?
The character, the 8-bit character that you were resembling here.
It was supposed to be Mario's mushroom, but
Oh, yeah, I can kind of see it now. Yeah, yeah, here the
I
eyes.
didn't. I don't have colors. I tried to figure that out, and I kind of like was like, I'd rather just wait for the next lesson for that.
Yeah, yeah, it's one thing at a time. It helps to master one thing before moving on to the next, because everything can really tumble out of control if we don't have our basics down first. Okay, well, cool, cool. So yeah, for Thursday, let's go ahead and refine this. Right, everything on the grid, perfectly flat, and then
Okay.
we'll take another look at it on Thursday.
Yes.
Cool. All right. All right, and then Dragon. This is the guy from Zelda. Is it Zelda?
The the black maid from Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. That was my second guess. Okay, cool, cool. All right, so you got the color in there. That always helps. Um, yeah. So we got pretty interesting. You have the cubes, the anchor point in the center here.
Oh yeah, that's because
Uh,
I moved them back after I used the anchor point to place the first one because I made it with mostly using this one mostly using special duplicate,
right,
and then
right, right.
I centered them back.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's see. So yeah, looks like we got them all lined up here. Looks like they are off a little bit. Yes, there's a little bit of rotation added to probably all of these. Can you see this line right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just rotate it off just a little bit. But pretty solid work. Let's see. We can just fix this all together by selecting all of them, coming down to rotate, then hit 0. Yeah, yeah, it's just rotation. Cool. All right, and then let's see. Let's just keep in mind the rubric. Like every assignment will have a rubric. Um, just before next Thursday, let's go ahead and resubmit this correctly, and that goes for I don't know, well everybody, but particularly you two, because y'all are the only ones that submitted anything so far. But let's keep in mind the naming convention. We're going to need that naming convention for every assignment. So that's last name underscore nature of the project in camel text underscore letter V and the version number. And it should be a .ma for the format. All right. Cool. Good work, man. Good work. All right. Any questions before we move on?
No.
No. No.
Go
You
with
know.
thing.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
Okay, so I got one. When I was working on this, like this is my third redoing of this.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in the front view for mostly, but something happened. I do not know what. Because I kept jumping between the front view and the perspective view to try to make sure everything was staying aligned.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, after I nearly got finished, well, basically got finished, I checked it out in perspective view again and to find the entire top half pushed forward on the x-axis, which I don't know how that happened working from the front view.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just a lot of little things. That's why we focus on details. We know our basics, and we also gonna we'll learn how to fix things as we go along. So these little things happen that we just don't really understand. It's not Maya. It's just always like a little misclick here and there that we can't see from a certain perspective, right? And then we keep working, 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 and then it just kind of tumbles out of control. To So yes, that's probably just working in one view a little too long. A good thing I've learned just over the years is that you're always either tumbling, you're always switching views here and there, just taking a look at everything, so you can just get a good idea of how it looks on from all angles most of the time. What was how did you fix it?
I had to delete it all and start back from a certain spot moving up.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So keeping a good flow going on between the views is good. And then also just working with the arrows, right? You just want to work with the arrows. Sometimes the boxes here it moves on two axes at a time, and we never use this middle part because that's the best way to lose track of where your subject, your model is in 3D space. So it's a methodology to it, really. Mythology. That's a good way to put it. All right, Lily, what's your question?
Um, the question with the underscore thing with the naming. What was? I'm just trying to figure out what you mean.
Well, it can be anything really. 8-bit be named after the assignment, so 8-bit asset. So it would be number 8. Bit B would be capitalized, asset A would be capitalized, and underscore, etc., etc.
Okay. Um, I think that's my question. I'm gonna try to figure out the snap thing while I was talking. I'm just gonna write some stuff down.
Okay. All right. And let's see. You said you do have the book, right?
The book?
Right. The Autodesk Maya 2020, the Basics Guide.
Um, no, I think that's probably why I'm struggling. Oh, the book you gave me
Um.
on which?
Well, no, that was for I think that was for the other class, but
Okay, no,
um.
that this. Okay, this class. No, I didn't get it because I feel like maybe that's why I'm struggling.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, once you get it, there'll be another reference. Again, all this stuff is also online. It's very easy to look up in Google. Um, if you have any problems and you want a faster solution than waiting for me to respond, just going online, typing in your issue. There's all types of forums, there's all types of tutorials for everything. So keep that in mind. And then also undo button. Undo button is just very helpful too. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's that. Okay, guys, cool. So we'll refine these and then we'll save the moving on to the next step a little later. So right now for today, we're just going to go over in-depth objects, components, and selecting. So, all right, let me move these out of the way. All right, and then I'm going to build a little 8-bit character real quick. Let's see. All right, and then a fair warning for next week. So, looks like this weekend we're going to readdress the 8-bit asset, except instead of 2D, we're going to make it 3D. So a 3D 8-bit character. And then we'll go over colors and materials a little bit today too. So we don't have to worry about um, so much of an effective silhouette
So it's gonna be we're gonna be building it up in 3D as blocks, or we actually gonna be modeling it out.
as blocks. And we'll start off with
Okay.
blocks. All right, that's why snapping is really important. Excuse me, important. So when you start moving in 3D, it's really easy for one or two blocks to get shifted to the side. So let me find a character. Big fan of Zelda here.
Do Mega Man. Mega Man.
Mega Man's solid. Yeah. So 8-bit Mega Man. Yeah. Alright, and we're looking for the crunchiest Mega Man, so this doesn't eat up too much time here. Alright, and so we'll leave beveling behind because that's going to slow us down a little bit when we get into 3D. Um, so when we start getting to 3D, it's going to be useful to learn more about components. Alright, so what I mean by that is, again, we're going to trust the cube here. Press and hold D to adjust the anchor point. V, and I use middle mouse button to quickly click it to the edge there and snap it to the grid. Alright, and what I mean by components is that I can right click over here, right click and hold, and then I have my components here pop up. So we got edges at the top, we got faces down here, we got vertices to the left here. And then once you're in any of these edge modes, to get back, we have object mode in the upper right corner. Yeah, I don't suggest this, but more power to you if you master it this way. You can also go to multi, and then you can get all three at once. So you can select an edge, select a face. You can also select a vertex without having to switch modes. I like one at a time. Helps me keep track of what I'm doing. And these components, they move the same way like objects. So we have an anchor point. It originally starts off centered. Um, in the middle of the selection, right? So if I have two faces, it's centered between these two faces. One face centered between that one face. I select all the faces. It's going to be centered, much like the original object's anchor point. Well, unless I haven't moved it yet. So hit this. No, there we go. Reset pivot. Right underneath tool settings there. Go back to faces. There we go. Same anchor point. So I'm going to select this one. And since I don't want to really move it too much, we want to retain that cubic look, right, with the right angles and everything. Pretty much we're just going to move each face just in one axis at a time. So we don't have to adjust the anchor point at all. So I can hit X to snap it to the grid, move it over, and so I got two. Pretty much what looks like two cubes next to one another, snap to one another. And that'll save us a little time with designing, redesigning, editing, that sort of thing. And also saves polys once we get into rendering, so faster renders, that sort of thing. Alright, so alright, I want to make an attempt here at building a Mega Man. Pull this to the side. And go out here. Okay. So I can just actually count how wide it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Let's see, 11. So about 21. So duplicate special, up here, edit, duplicate special, option box. Alright, so I'm going to start with the left side here. And keep in mind the Z arrow, the blue arrow. Whichever way it's pointing, that's usually the front. It's a good rule of thumb. I mean, technically it doesn't have to be, but it just works well with a lot of programs like mirroring and other forms of duplication. If we just use positive Z as the front. Okay. So I'll make 10 of these guys. I'm going to translate down 1 centimeter each. Do it that way. Alright, then I'm going to do it the other way. And then we got 21 cubes. Just like that. And from there, and then from there, we start moving upward. I think I lost my cube with my axis here. Oh yeah, that's right. I changed it back. Okay. So what we can do is set everybody's pivot point right there. All right, looks good. And count how many cubes high is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25 high. Duplicate special. We need 24 copies to translate upwards instead of to the side. So zero that out. +1 on the Y value box here. Alright, and hit apply. Alright. everything should be flush because he's duplicate special and only duplicated along one axis at a time. So it looks like that's about right. Take a look at my orthographics. Yeah, everything's really flush. Cool. All right, and we'll start cutting out pieces. Let's see. So this 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll use this one here, center. Okay, cool. So chiseling him out at this point. Okay, and then instead of doing this one by one, I can also speed speed this up by pressing and holding Shift. So went over before. It's about selecting multiple objects here. So let's see. So we got the one. Okay, so the one. And go up one. Select that guy. Select this one while holding Shift. One more. That's there, and then start kind of getting at this outline. And if you always misclick, you can always hit Z. Z undo works for selection too. That helps out a lot. So pressing and holding Shift to add more to it. This is what 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's not the 4. Not sure. Can go to my orthographic. Check the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Nice. That's up 2 over 1. Up and over 1. And then we don't need any of these above this cube here. So we press and hold Shift and press and hold Control. And this adds to selection. You can see that plus sign next to the mouse there. Then when marquee select drag this whole column there, and I'll take care of that part. Go ahead, hit delete. Clean up the extra cubes here. Marquee select, grab all those guys. Alright, and then we can start at the top here. So right here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so right up here. Alright, and then start moving up. Pressing holding Shift. Looks like just an even diagonal all the way to the top. Shift Control to add more to it without deselecting anything. Alright, cool. Alright, so we get 3 up top, 2, 3. What? Alright, it looks like it's about 2. We'll call it 2. Alright, diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, down 2. One over, and take out these 3. Okay. Alright. So while I'm going through this bit of a tedious part, any questions so far?
Um, is this like supposed to be a 2D or 3D? That's what I was like not sure.
Well, we're gonna start with 2D, and then we can turn it into 3D.
None
Alright.
whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no
None.
questions? Cool, cool. All right.
And this is recorded, right?
Right. Right. So let's see, get that notch there. 2 down here. Oh, that's no control. Deselect that. That's 2, 1, 2 more down. Cool. All right. And that's the edge of his glove, which looks like it's about 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notch in, and going diagonal. 1, 2, 3. Inside there. And mouse is just a little bit off. Right, this should be the bottom of his shoe. I mean the top of his shoe here. Yeah, so I miscounted here and there. He's gonna have misaligned feet here. That's not great. We'll roll with this for now. Alright. Okay, so I got the silhouette of Mega Man cut out here. And it's all blocks, right? All blocks, all with components. And what I can do is, when I want to start making the 3D part of this, select certain blocks. We'll start to shape out Mega Man's other dimension. It probably works a little better when you have more blocks. So, more blocks, more pixels, more definition. You get more to work with. Right here, I'm just going to take these guys right about here. Deselect these. Pressing holding control. Deselect these. That'll work. All right, I'm going to go to face mode. Oh, that's the side face. We'll set a face mode so I can get multiple, all of these guys. Let's see, it's F11, F11. There we go. F11. You can select multiple faces, move multiple faces at the same time, and then so this was gets tricky, right? You don't want to fall into the habit of clicking and selecting each component that you need unless you have to. So what I'm going to do is swing over to the side, right about here. And keep in mind when you're in component mode, the priority inside the queue, the marquee here are components. And then after that it's objects, which means if a drag and select is supposed to select everything inside that marquee, except if there's a component, it's going to prefer the selected component over the object. That's what keeps these other guys inside the marquee unselected. So right now I'm just going to go for, it's probably better to do this in orthographic. I'm going to go for the front, which is this way because we build our character facing positive Z. You can see down here, positive Z is off to the left. So I'll select all of that, and then I'm going to hit Control, and then deselect. Okay. Does anybody understand why I did that?
You deselect it?
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is make a 3D character here, right? I want to select all these faces without taking all the time and effort to select each one of these. So what I did was I went to orthographic, marquee select this side, and then press and hold Control to deselect this side. So why do I have to do it that way?
So you can focus on the front?
Yeah,
It's that.
simply put. So let's see. All right, well, yes. Let's use just a section here. Okay, Control 1. All right, so Control 1 to hide everything except for your selection. All right, so I have these cubes. Face, excuse me, F11. Cool. I can select everybody's face to the side and marquee selected. So if I was just going to move these front faces forward here, all I want is these front faces. Everything else goes with it. Oh, why is that? Just to break it down a little bit more. Any guesses?
No, not really.
No?
Maybe Dragon might.
Well, yeah, so like I was saying earlier, it's like the marquee it selects everything inside the marquee. So even these side faces, right? And technically there's no way to actually select the front of these from the side, but this is the only way we're going to get them all in one go. So what we do is we select all these so we get the front faces we're looking for, and then we marquee the side faces on the other side to deselect those. Marquee, Control, marquee, click and drag to deselect all the side faces. That way we can just work with the front here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Oop, wrong button. Hit Z. Hit Control 1 again to bring everything back. Just hit Z enough times. I think I can get back my selection. Okay, cool. All right. Again, deselecting the side faces. And press and hold X. I can move these forward one step at a time, or 1 centimeter at a time. So then I can come on here, deselect the edges I want to deselect, and then it sort of becomes something like a very bad topological graph. Since it's so, pixelated here. I start bringing it out a little bit more, then deselect the edges.
Are you using stretch or snap? Or like you
Using
just
translation, so the move tool, and snapping, so pressing and holding X, and just pulling it out 1 centimeter at a time.
okay?
All right, that's what we're going to end up doing for next week here. All right, so something of a head-ish. Okay, and then let's see. What was this? Selection, deselection, tool. Oh yeah, so when you have so many objects like this, it's also useful to use the um, brush selection tool, so you can come on. Oh yeah, that's right. So get back to object mode, brush selection. Oh, okay. Give me. So it'll be lasso. All right. It's not working for me. Just a second, guys. There we go. Oh boy, it's slow. Wow. All right. I also have the lasso tool, so I'll save you some time, right? When your selection doesn't perfectly fit the marquee selection, you know, always hit our lasso. So go around here, avoiding the edge. Give us some time to think. It's unusual. I'm not really used to that, but okay. All right. Go back to my regular selection, clean up a little bit here and there. Yeah, I probably would have done a better job if I was in orthographic using the lasso tool. But made it. Yeah. there. Okay. And same thing with this guy. F11, face mode, off to the side. Select the front faces and the side faces. Deselect the side faces. Move tool, hitting W, pressing and holding X. I'm bringing out exactly 1 centimeter. And then from here, I can also hit tab. And so this is, well, this is kind of like a drag select tool. It's not like the brush tool. It's just, well, you can select or deselect whatever your mouse rolls over. So I can hit that. So it automatically does the inverse selection, as is. It's a little different from the regular selection. So I'm just going to drag over these. Deselect those for me. Drag over these to reselect them, and then just sort of go around the corner. Probably not the most artistic approach from Mega Man here. Nice that, add that. Oh, let's do a face here. So deselect that. Also a sign that we might have missed something else here, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control and re-deselect sides. Just make sure I got everything I want and move it out really far. Check if anything else is just jutting out. Okay, looks okay. Let's D to snap it back, then X just to bring it to that 1 centimeter mark. And then we'll do the same with the back side, etc., etc. All right, any questions so far? So about selecting, deselecting, face mode, object mode.
Um, um, I did write down what you did with the deselecting, but I'm trying to figure out where is the thing that red thing you did when you were pulling. I don't know where that is.
The red thing
When
I was
you're
pulling.
you're making the objects to 3D. That's I'm trying to figure that out how you did that. I know you said 1 inch, but I don't know where to start.
Okay, so it's all right. So this is about the snapping, right?
Oh,
So yeah, so when we snap to the grid, and everything is 1 inch, excuse me, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, right? So when
okay.
we, all right, so when we pull out a face, right, we get something else I said though. Pull out a face, we get this exactly 1 centimeter out, right? Because we're snapping it to the grid. So for face mode, we're pressing holding X, which means snapping to the grid, pulling out exactly 1 centimeter, and just one interval, which is one of these little squares down here, which makes this now a 1 centimeter by 2 centimeter by 1 centimeter um, rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, I think the correct term is, but a stretched cube here. So that's just our move tool with the snapping.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any more questions?
Hmm.
No? All right, cool. So, give it a try, real quick. It doesn't have to be as complicated as this, but let's give the 3D building of any sort of pixelated item here a try before we split out. It also helps, I can't believe I didn't mention this, it also helped from last class was taking a look at sculptures done in Minecraft. Right, there's a big community that is built like the Star Trek spaceship, or like I think goodness, what is that movie called? Lord of the Rings tower, that sort of thing. They've built it all out of just blocks, just one by one dimensional blocks, and then that's sort of the end result we're looking for. Go ahead, type it in here.
Um,
No, that's not what I want to see. All right, so yeah, so we got a dragon here. That 3D pixelated look we're looking for. Let's see what else. Pretty cool stuff. Right. Photos. Neat mermaid. Oh, this is neat. Holy cow. Yeah, they've done a lot with this.
um, I'm trying to grid it, and it's turning out not what I expect.
All right,
Like you said,
let's
we have to place them in the on the grid box with the chart we have, but I'm just placing it around and just not placing where it's supposed to, like in pressing X and click.
Oh, you're
So,
pressing and holding X?
I press, I click it, and then and press X, and then I'm moving it, but it's basically not going where the grid chart is supposed to.
All right, so you have the anchor point in place?
Anchor point. I
Because we're snapping, technically we're not snapping the object. The object follows the anchor point wherever it goes. Like that's like the center of control. Like whenever you rotate, whenever you scale, whenever you move, you're actually moving the anchor point, and the object is going with the anchor point. So
Do you want me to present it so I can see, so you can
yeah,
see?
yeah. Let's take a look.
Alright. Um.
All right, there it is.
Uh,
Yeah. So let's get the anchor point together first. So you remember the D to edit the anchor point, the hotkey? You press and hold D. You press and hold V to snap things through vertexes. Let's hit Z. Let's hit the Z key.
What?
Let's hit the Z key.
The Z key. Okay.
A couple more times. There we go. All right. Now let's press and hold D, and then press and hold V. V is in Vinny.
D. Okay.
All right, and then we can snap the anchor point to any vertex. Let's pick a
Did you
bottom
want me to?
vertex. One of the ones in the bottom there.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's let go. Let go of the hotkeys. See, when you clicked it again, it kind of reoriented the orientation of the anchor tool. That becomes a problem later on, but it is much more complicated than our scope for now. So let's hit Z again. All right, and D
Okay.
and V.
D and V.
Mm-hmm. And let's drag that
Okay.
circle to the bottom vertex. Okay.
Here.
Yeah, that'll work.
And let go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and then the X hotkey should work for you for snapping it to the grid. All right, and yeah, it's right on top of the grid there. And from there, you can start building. So for now, let's build a wall real quick, like a 3x3 wall. And then let's start extending out the inside of the wall to add a 3D effect.
Let me see.
Or more dimension to it.
Right here. Is this it?
No, we're
Or
duplicating. We're duplicating the cube and making a 3x3 wall.
okay. Um,
So let's just go ahead. Control D is to duplicate. Let's undo
okay.
because we don't use the yellow square to move anything. Remember, that's how we lose track of everything. We only use
Okay.
arrows. So it looks like you already have a duplicate. So let's, or maybe not. Let's move it one more time. Okay, it's right there. All right, cool. So when moving the cube, just make sure you use X every time.
Okay.
All right, let's hit undo. You see how it's not lined up? Wait. Okay, you got it lined up now. All right, good. And again, we're not using the yellow square. I'll stay away from the yellow square.
Okay.
All right, and then we want a 3x3 wall, 3x3 solid wall.
Okay. So, I think I cloned it.
All right, you guys move it off to the side to take a look. Not sure. All right, now when you moved it, did you hold X?
No.
Yeah, every time. There we go. All right, so you see it's a little off. If we tumble back around to the back side, you see that little glint of light right there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that happens. We can delete that.
Okay.
Okay. and the one next to it.
This one.
Mm-hmm. All right. Looks like it's fixed. All right. Cool. Now let's duplicate all three of those and then just bring them up 2 times. So we have a 3x3 wall.
Okay. Shift and Control D.
Press and hold X. Let's hit Z. The Z. Hit Z to get your old selection back. All right. Press Z to get your old selection back.
Okay.
One more time. There we go. Let's use that. Z again. Oh, okay.
Okay. Um,
All right. Let's press and hold X first, and then yeah. There we go. And one more time.
okay.
There we go. Okay, so that center cube. Now let's bring that center cube out 1 centimeter. For the one in the center. So the center. Let's hit
Centers.
wait, let's hit Z. I'm seeing a little crack in there, so let's hit Z again to put that cube back in place. One more
Okay.
time. Oh no, let's hit Z to get it back into place.
I am.
Oh, okay, so those already out of
I
place. How did they get out of place? Let's
think it's this one.
um it looks like it. Okay, so let's tumble around a little bit because I think it's the center one. I saw a value in the I think it's the center one. So all right, so just to fix it manually, let's click that bottom middle cube real quick, the one you were clicking before. Let's go over here to your
Um,
channel box
um,
off to the right. There it says P cube 2
Q2.
to the right, screen right. All right, and if you go a
Um,
little lower, yeah, so that's your channel box right there.
okay.
All right,
Okay.
you see translate Y, right? Translate Y.
Translate one. Okay.
Yeah, so you see it is all the other cubes have like a 0.5 or point or negative 0.5, etc. This one has 0.501. So it means it's off by 0.001 centimeters. So we can fix that manually by let's just delete that one.
Like that.
Well, not the whole thing, just the 0.001. So let's hit Z.
I guess I press what it says. Negative.
No. Let's click in the empty area to deselect. And then look, okay, then let's hit Z again until it goes back into its previous position. All
Okay.
right, cool. And then let's take care of that 0.001.
0.001. Just type that in.
So no, let's just delete the 0 and the 1 at the end there. There. Okay, awesome. Now we have that fixed. Everything's flush. All right, and then let's go ahead and pull out that face on that center cube. So it's the one that's above that cube you have selected currently. There it
That.
is. All right.
Okay. Um, this is. What do you want me to
Oh,
select?
so face mode. Let's click the center cube again. All right, and then right click and hold to get to your component menu.
Right, right, right click, and hold.
There it is. All right, and then face in that radial menu that just popped up.
This one. Oh, face.
Yeah.
Okay. Did I do
Okay.
it?
Yeah. And then let's just bring out that face 1 centimeter.
Um, oh, I didn't do it. Like that.
The other way. So the face is pointing negative z, so well negative x. So we'll bring it back negative 1 centimeter in x direction. There it is, right there. All right, that's it. That's it. That's all we're going to be doing, except to a much grander scale.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Dragon, how you doing, man?
I am battling with Maya to get it to actually not lag like crazy and work right now.
Okay. And you got a lot of programs open.
Just my web browser.
It's a web browser. Oh crap. Okay. Let's see. How to speed up Maya?
Oh shoot.
Let's see. So restarting the computer helps clear the VRAM and the RAM. Do you have what's it, the Black Mage, Final Fantasy Black Mage open?
Yeah, like I think I'm just gonna have to restart the computer because I can't really do anything to it. My program itself is starting to freeze. I'm expecting it to crash any minute now.
Okay. So worst case scenario. So the thing is like when it gets into components, there's a lot more that Maya has to consider up front. So it may help to do like smaller sections, um, or maybe even one by one, or instead of just stretching cubes out in one axis, you can use larger cubes to fill up more space,
Hmm.
and that'll cut down a lot of the processing that you have to worry about. Okay. All right. Okay. So guys, for next class, let's refine. Well, Dragon, you're pretty solid, man. Let's go ahead and get started on the 3D part of your Black Mage for Thursday, and then Lily, let's go ahead and refine the snapping of each of those
Yes.
block pixels. And then also both of you guys, let's go ahead and resubmit the project with the naming convention.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, I won't be able to get the book until like next month, the beginning of next month.
Okay. Well, that's just like a week away. Um. All right. Cool. Cool. I can write that down, and then once you start book assignments, I'll post the pages to the classroom.
Okay.
All right, thank
Okay. Cool. All right. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. Good to see you guys. All right. Sorry to take up so much of your time. But next class should be a lot more swifter. We'll just take a quick look at everybody's project and we'll get into the colors and materials.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, y'all take care.
Bye.